What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's MaxTheCatfish, and yesterday, the Coffee Stain devs dropped a teaser trailer for Update 4 in Satisfactory called Nuclear Refinement. And we've been long kind of awaiting changes to Nuclear and teased a little bit that these changes were coming in Update 4, but I think now it's the first time that we're actually seeing what that might be in a little bit more of a definitive sense. The game releases Update 4 on March 16th. So this is the second to last video that we're going to get from the Coffee Stain Studio devs. They release a video every Friday. So I'm assuming that next week, Friday, we're going to get maybe a holistic idea of what the game includes, but this might be our last teaser trailer of the game. So what we're going to do is a kind of a deep dive into the video, take a look and see what they released, what they're teasing here, and see if we can glean any information from what we should expect when Update 4 comes out in the experimental branch on the 16th of March. Cool? Let's get into it. This is my first time watching the video. I've actually never seen this before. It just released yesterday, and this is the first time to sit down and take a look at it. So you and I are going into this pretty much at the same level, or you might already know what the video includes. And so if we come to the same conclusions, I think that's going to be fantastic. Let me know what you think is coming in this Update 4 release with regards to Nuclear Refinement. If the video doesn't explain it completely to us, I'll be shocked if it does. Right off the bat, that building I think was teased to us, or is that the... Oh, that might be the blender, actually. Yeah, that's the blender. Okay. Going into a manufacturer, that looked like nuclear rods, encased industrial beams, and what was that last one? That is waste going into a blender, interestingly, and coming out as some other product, more like a physical solid product, like a brick, maybe. Concrete, and I forgot what that item is there. I'm gonna have to look that up after this. Coming out as something even more glowy, actually, which is really interesting. Cool. We have our heat sinks going on there. We knew that there was gonna be something to do with heat sinks in the new update. Yeah, these super glowy compact things. We're going to break this all down after the first watch here because there's a lot to analyze. This is I think the old waste, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe that's a new item. They were saying that there was going to be some kind of compaction of the waste. That's it? Okay, hold on. So this is definitely a video that has something to do a little bit more with process flow. And hello, everyone. Hi, Kivitz. How's it going, buddy? Look at you showing up next on the video. We're going to have to go back and take a look at that video again. I did not expect the autoplay. Let's go back and take a look. All right, so on the onset, we see a couple of things happening here, right? This is our uranium. We've got concrete going into this factory, which seems to have some use here in terms of making maybe a new product we haven't seen before, possibly. I have to remind myself, actually, now that I think about it, what are the current structures to build the nuclear fuel rods? You've got sulfur and water. They get combined into sulfuric acid. You combine that with uranium, which I think we're seeing on the screen here. So sulfuric acid and uranium being combined into that uranium pellet. So I think that's one of the first processes we're kind of seeing. And then that uranium pellet gets combined with concrete, which we see on the screen as well. To create an encased uranium cell. Okay. So far, so good. So we've actually seen this recipe before that we see on the screen. This is the creation of the nuclear fuel rod. And the nuclear fuel rod we see going into a nuclear power plant just as it does today, and the waste coming out. So this should be very familiar to you. Clearly not to me, because I did, one nuclear construction at the end of our last session of Satisfactory. The way that things work today, this should be pretty familiar if you've gotten to that point in the game. Now, this part is new. So we actually see, well, 4 things here. And this is interesting because I don't think we've seen this before. We've got silica on the left and the waste as our 2 physical products going into our blender. And then there are 2 input pipes of resources going in. Do we get to see what the 4th input is? All the way on the far right, if we scroll over. Let's see. We don't at all. They've hidden that from us. It could be a gas, potentially. It might be a liquid. That 3rd input, the first pipe that we see on the right side there, I don't know what that is. What color is that? Maybe it's one of the new liquids or one of the new gases that we get in the game. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to have to take a look after the fact and see whether we've been hinted at what that could be. But this is all going into a blender, which is creating what? Here it is. What looks like a kind of brick. It looks like we've taken sort of the waste. And before we go to the next screen here, some kind of brick that's going to be radioactive, right? You won't want to be around these. Probably more radioactive, if we think about it, than the waste. But look at that. It's going into a building that has 2 physical inputs and then a pipe input. Is that that isn't our first time seeing that, is it? A brick and what looks like more waste. And they cut away from it. Interesting. In fact, I think the thing on the left is more of that building. If that would make sense, right? The thing on the left might be that building that we don't get a chance to see. It's outputting its resources. These how many are there? 7 kind of cylinders together, outputting that into a series of assemblers. And it's the only building they haven't shown in the entire video. The only one that's been hidden from us. What we're going to do, we're going to scroll through some of the concept art and the photos that have been teased to us. Because if I'm not mistaken, 2 physical inputs and 1 pipe input. We've never seen that before. You've got a refinery, which is 1 and 1. We have the blender, which is 2 and 2. I think this sits somewhere in the middle there, and this is something that we've never seen before. I don't know if I would have caught that if I had just watched the video through and didn't actually pause it. So whatever this thing is creating is combining that with yet more concrete in our assemblers here. And what's it pushing out? Some kind of cylindrical cluster of something. If I'm not mistaken, this might be plutonium. I don't remember if it is. We're going to have to take a look and see whether that matches up between what we know about the game so far and the new stuff. So yeah, those are definitely plutonium pellets. And combined with that, concrete looks like they're making encased plutonium cells. Now in this section here, if we just pause, we've got the encased plutonium cells. Looks like heat sinks. And at the bottom there, we've got our steel beams and our electromagnetic control rods. So those 4 together are sort of making the core of, what would this be? Some kind of plutonium fuel cell, maybe, if we're going to call it that. Something along those lines. It looks like they're even moving in the direction of a power plant, a nuclear fuel power plant. So I'm assuming here, what we're going to get is the plutonium power cells going into a new nuclear power plant or the existing nuclear power plant. And yeah, it looks like it. Looks like it. You can see the water going into the top of the power plant just like it did before. So we've got our plutonium power cells now going into power plants. And we're going to see coming out of this, what I'm guessing is this compact plutonium waste that is going to be a little bit more compact than the nuclear waste that we had before. We're going to be able to store, I guess, is it more of it or is it less of it? We're going to be able to store this inside of containers, and we won't have to use so many containers to store so much of our waste. Yes, so this is that refinement process, right? We're taking that nuclear waste, we're using it for something new, that plutonium fuel cell, which one can assume is going to be a little bit longer lasting and produce less waste, produce less of these containers for storing somewhere else. If I'm not mistaken, that actually, I think in the starter zone in the game, I think that might be where that big hole is, the big sinkhole in the ground that they're sending those into. I can't remember. It looks very familiar. I'm thinking that might be the case, which is kind of cheeky. I like that. But yeah, this is the more compact, smaller version of nuclear waste. And this was something that was requested by a lot of people, which was, can we get something a little bit more compact so I don't have storage upon storage upon storage of these things? And, you know, in a way, Coffee Stain has actually taken this and done a really great thing with it, which is you might have these storage containers in your save. You can't get rid of them. You can't really... Okay, there's one way you can delete them, which is like horrific and inhumane. But for the most part, you can't remove nuclear waste from the game. But what they're giving us is a way, potentially, I think, of compacting that nuclear waste down so it takes up less space and you have to pay less attention to it. What factor is it from nuclear waste to whatever this object is? I don't know. Is it a factor of 10? Might be good enough. Is it a factor of 100? Like that would be a considerable, compression level. But I'd be pretty surprised if it was that big of a ratio, right, from nuclear waste down to this new waste. I don't know. It could be. So I think we have some information about what this is and how the process from where we came from to where we're going is managed. But I still can't get over this. Is this just a blender? No, it's that one there. That one in the distance. 2 physical inputs and a liquid or gas input on the side. And it's outputting a physical product. It might also have a liquid product related to it. It's not quite clear. We don't really see it. But this is a big question. Does that exist and I'm just being a total derp? Let's really quick find out. Because if I'm just being an absolute derp here, that's ridiculous. Let's see. There are, in the Satisfactory wiki, we can get a list of all the buildings. Here we go. Subcategory manufacturers, right? Assembler, constructor, manufacturer. Now that's just the 3 basic ones that we already know about. Maybe the category production is better. There's fluid production, oil production, which might be empty, smelters, and I doubt it's in workstation here. It's not the packager, is it? I don't think it's the refinery, unless the refinery is getting a big change. No, the packager is these vertical liquid and solids. All this does is package and unpackage products. So it's not that. The refinery is a single solid input and a single pipe input. And its design is a very different shape than the building that we saw in that image. If it's the foundry, I'm going to... Okay, good. It's not. I was a little bit worried here that it was the foundry and I was just losing my mind. Definitely doesn't seem to be. And it's certainly not the smelter. It only has 1 input and 1 output. So, I don't know. I don't think we've seen this before. A new production building that has never been leaked and has these 2 solid belt inputs and a single pipe input that produces a belted output. Maybe something else in addition to that. I think this is a first. So they've been really tight-lipped about this. And in fact, I'm thinking back to some of the videos that they released in late 2020, early 2021. I don't think we were shown this. I can't quite remember the shape of the building. I don't remember if you recall the what's that constructor or what's that Pokemon style image that they showed during one of their dev videos, their kind of announcement videos. That's definitely the blender. Definitely the blender. Now, I see the 2 physical outputs of the blender, the 2 belted outputs, and it's not... I think this is the shape of the blender where there's 2 belted inputs and 2 pipe inputs, right? And I don't know if we've ever been shown the other side, but there must be a pipe output to it because you're blending liquids together. You're blending possibly gases or liquids together into a product that might have a liquid byproduct, right? You can't quite see it in this image, but the shape of that with the round blending portion of the machine definitely is the blender. So I was assuming this might have been teased way earlier than it was shown to us for the very first time, but it hasn't been. So that still leaves the question, what is that building? I don't think we've ever seen it before. I don't know if that's ever been shown, ever been teased. We're going to have to take a look. I'm going to do some digging on some of the Satisfactory community stuff and see if anyone knows. If you happen to know, and I am just totally dropping the ball, and you're sitting there screaming at your computer, Max, it's the... whatever the name of the building is, let me know down in the comments. Very, very interesting stuff. Excited for this, the compaction of and the processing of nuclear waste into something that's a little bit more compact. That's great. I think that's nice. It's especially those of you that have, barrels upon barrels upon barrels. You're going to get a big kick out of the update 4 content in this because you're going to have a lot to do and set up. The number of products that were involved in that video were immense. That's a big, complex, complicated process to go from the nuclear waste that comes out of a nuclear power plant to that more compact waste that is going to take up less space. But hey, if that's what you're all about is getting that, compaction as low as possible, I think you've got an opportunity to have a lot more fun with the game and another challenge that you're going to be able to face. Got a new video coming out soon. We're going to run through everything that we know about Update 4 ahead of the Update 4 release. It's going to be a little bit of a preview for those of you that maybe don't remember all the things that have been leaked. Like this video, I think was made in 2020, sometime in November, October, something like that. We are going to do a recap of everything that is coming in Update 4, all of the changes to Satisfactory. I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really nice. A nice kind of wrap up of what we should expect when the update releases to both Steam and Epic on March 16th to the experimental branch of Satisfactory. In the meantime, you can check us out on our live streams on Twitch. We're playing Valheim, actually, a game that is published by Coffee Stain Studios as well. It is such a blast. But come the release of the new update for Satisfactory, we're going to be switching back to that and just going full gear from the very beginning. There are a ton of changes coming to the game. A ton of changes. Like it's crazy. It's going to affect everything pretty much from the end of your starter base all the way up to the new tier 8. Super psyched. So if you're looking forward to that, don't forget to check out our new video that's coming out soon. It's going to be the update for all the updates that are coming out in Update 4. And to make sure that you see that and are aware of that, don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, give it a like. Let me know what you think is coming, that new special building is, down in the comments below. And in the meantime, check us out on Twitch. Hope to see you guys there, either live on Twitch or on our next video. See you guys soon.
Go. One more time. This time I'm like really doing it.
Armor.
Which one of you was that? Mighty? Oh my god.
Armor.
Oh my god.
Need food, badly. Need food, badly.
Armor. Armor.
Need food, badly.
Oh my god. Oh. You guys are so freaking funny.